Hello, blade fans. OG Blades with you once again. And we're revisiting a knife that I had shown you about a year ago. It was over a year ago. And you probably recognize the name LTK because LTK stands for Love Them Knives. A very nice and in-depth YouTube channel, content creator, Lee over there at LuvThemKnives. And he teamed with We Knives not long ago. Reason I'm bringing these to the forefront once again is that there are a few still available on White Mountain, the sole distributor for these. And, I ordered a second one because before they ran out, I'm going to dedicate this to a lot of EDC use because I feel that it fills that need 100%. So We Knives, and you get a beautiful stitched case that actually has like a fur lining, one of their better cases. And you also get some nice extra titanium hardware. Yes, folks, titanium body screws on this knife. And I'm not sure we get an LTK cloth here. I don't think so. I'm not going to bother unraveling that to be sure. But here is the knife. This one is in green. I'll show you the coral red or whatever you want to call it, burgundy, in a moment. It is a button lock knife. I'm going to try to go over everything about this knife that I feel are the high points. And I see almost none that are negatives. So let's open it up, give you a look. For those that haven't seen this yet, it is a long clip style design with a forward belly. Lots of useful real estate on this knife. It is 20 CV, so premium steel. The frame is all 100% titanium. The body screws, as I was saying, they're titanium. The clip, which is a folded over clip out of titanium, which you almost never see. I think I've only got about 2 other knives that have titanium clips that aren't milled clips. This is a sheet metal titanium bent clip, which means it's going to be a little easier in and out of the pocket than your milled clips, which are very often tough to get in and out of the pocket and not very flexible. It has 5 inlays on each side of G10. And I'm told, although I haven't taken this knife apart, there are little screws on the underside which hold each of those pieces in place. We don't yet know whether or not they're also glued in, but there's your screw holes that go in a ways into the titanium. No weight relieving on the inside because you've got all these pockets on the outside that act as weight relief with the G10 in them. The clip is transferable very neatly so by taking out one screw right there, slipping this out, taking out this screw, slipping it on the other side, putting the screw back in, and nice and solid. There is no wiggle to this. See if we can back out just a little bit more. Yeah, that's nice when you get a little extra space. We've got a fuller, and the fuller is useful. I'm not real successful with it for middle finger flicks, but I'll try it before we finish up. But it has nice sharp edges on the fuller, which means it is going to be useful for both a thumb opening as well as a finger flick. What do I like about it? The button lock is one of the most deep recessed buttons on a knife such as this, which means you push on it accidentally, you get a little bit of wiggle, but it does not close. You have to purposely push the finger in there, and then it really closes beautifully. It's on bearings. Very smooth bearings, yes. It is a 3.5-inch blade. We'll measure it up again in a moment. You can see about 1 inch sticking out there from the end of my medium-large hand. And no, that's not a cut. I got an injection today of some cortisone to help the thumb out and heal it a little faster. Beautiful jimping. Just right. I mean, the thing with LuvThemKnives is that he's handled thousands of knives over the years, probably done thousands of reviews. I haven't counted them. And I think he knows what goes into a really nice EDC knife. We've got a nice stop here. Not that big a stop, but enough of a stop so that it covers the flipper tab. Flipper tab has jimping on it. Frame's got a little bit of jimping on it. So, you know, what are the things we always look for in an EDC knife? We look for a good lockup. We look for a good size. We look for comfortable ergos. We've got a hidden lanyard pin for those that must have a lanyard. Nice short backspacer that is cut out for that lanyard pin and also is used for anchoring the pocket clip. We've got that beautiful titanium sheet metal clip. We have flat sides and nice radiused edges, so nothing sharp. And while you can feel the clip, it is not a hot spot whatsoever. And for those that like to choke up a little bit, you've even got a provision here if you want to wrap your finger around there. You just have to be careful you don't bump it into the heel of that blade. Let's measure it up and we can talk some more about this knife as we do so. I've got 8 1/8, so we'll call that 8.15, not including the clip, which actually protrudes a little further out than the handle. So if you must include that, it's 8 1/4. The blade length is 3.5, maybe 3.55. Call that a 3.55 with a cutting edge. I'll call that 3 1/4, close enough, maybe slightly less. Here we have in inches the handle 0.52 inches and blade stock in millimeters 3.1. Then to leave that in inches 0.12. And let's see if we can get the scale out over here, dig it out from under some stuff. In ounces, we have 4.51. Basically call it 4.5 ounces, okay? Not too shabby. And as I said, 20 CV. Hardness was actually measured by Lee himself on his channel. The reading they got was about 60.5, I think, 60.5-ish. And if you look on White Mountain, they'll list this as 59 to 61. That may be the range of some others. I think it's a good hardness for 20 CV. 20 CV could certainly go a little higher, but you've got the ability to sharpen it. Speaking of which, isn't it nice to have the ability to sharpen a knife? I think so. I call it sharp. It is, as with many factory knives, shaving sharp but smooth, although I can feel just enough of a bite there that I wouldn't want to put too much pressure on my finger. It would cut. You can open and close it all day long with the button. Again, you've got to be purposeful. If you like a more fidgety knife, there are going to be knives where the button stands up much taller, but you can also easily close those when you don't want them to close. Not a good thing. What else we got going on here? Let's take a look at that opening fuller, and let's see if I can flicker open. If I can't, it doesn't mean that it's not possible. Yay, I just did it. You got to push in, significantly. I would say that the detent on this is a little on the strong side. Can I fail it? No. Try again. Can I fail it? No. It just breaks. I don't know of too many button locks that break so cleanly. Let's look at the sister knife. Sister knife, brother knife, whatever you want to call it. There is the first one I picked up that I have already done a review on. And I think they're calling that just simply red and green. This is like more of a forest green, I think. This is more of what I'd call a burgundy or even a coral red. So identical knives. The only thing different is the handle color. These are going for about $170, I think, at the moment on White Mountain. That is hard to beat because I think with a WE knife of this quality, I think you're talking about an MSRP of over $300. In fact, if you look at White Mountain, you can see where he crossed through about 3 or 4 previous prices. For some reason, they haven't been popular. They're not glamorous, but they've got a beautiful, deep stonewashed finish, gray finish on both the handle, the button, the blade. Only shiny part is the edge itself. And this is really going to contribute to a lot of use, showing very little wear. The wear is going to look like part of the stonewash, I feel. I don't know if you're going to get shiny spots or not, but you know, that's certainly possible. Okay, well, I got a washing machine going in the background here, filling up water, so I don't know how much it'll contribute to the background sound, but if you hear it, I'm not under some waterfall somewhere. It's a washer filling. But hopefully you can hear me, and I've got a lavalier mic on, so I'm a lot closer to the mic than that is. Yeah, I wanted to show you, for comparison, I was talking about button locks and ease of opening and closing, more like closing accidentally. This Kaiser by Damned Designs here, that is called the Mad Tonto. Beautiful Tonto, beautiful knife. You barely have to touch that button to get it to close. So if you were to be gripping it tightly and working with it and not having your finger in the choil as a stop, and maybe not having your finger tight up against the back of the flipper tab guard, it's going to close so easily. Now, if I try that same thing with the LTK Rezult, and if I didn't mention, it is the Rezult, R-U-Z-U-L-T, and I believe that Max Tkachuk had some input in the design. So this is both LTK and I believe a little bit of input from Max. Max also helped with another knife by Tucson, which was called the Vandal. And that was also a button lock. Quite frankly, I like this one a lot better. The Vandal is a nice knife. This one has, again, a button that is very easily disengaged. Whether or not that's going to matter to you and you prefer something that is easier to close because it's more fidgety, that's certainly up to you. Size-wise, if I were to compare this to today's carry, which is the Revisted, what is it? Revisted, it says it on the blade, Valkyrie. And these are a little bit longer than the Valkyrie by about an inch. Valkyrie's a nice, handy little EDC. I love it that it's basically a full Wharncliffe. I put the coral red one aside, and then again, just take kind of a walk around this really nice, really well-constructed EDC knife, the Rezult. And, you know, I think it's the result of a lot of thinking and a lot of effort. You've got your thumb opening. Not sure I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. I mean, it grabs the flesh. You've just got to get it at the right point. You can see I could roll it out slowly. I did that a moment ago. I'm not going to try. I'm sorry. For me, it's too close to the handle. Could be a negative. And I'm sure I've seen other people open it easily with a middle finger flick and so forth. Unfortunately, that isn't me, and I don't want to end up with a cut on my hand. Flipper tab works fine. Also, the button open works fine. Love the finish. Some people want to maybe replace the inserts and try that out. That's certainly a way to go. We've got a lanyard pin. We've got a changeable clip. Very nicely done interchangeable clip. And as far as the sharpening choil, beautiful. Plunge grind, beautiful. Comes down behind that by a good distance. Nice belly there. Nice flat surface there. And a piercy point, should you need that piercy point. Gotta love that too. Only branding on this knife is LTK on the pivot. Love that too. Beautiful plain stonewash that just goes all the way through on both sides of the knife. I think there is a very small, I'm not sure where it might be. I don't want to get all picayune about it. They are 20 CV. I'm hard pressed to find where they put that 20 CV. Sometimes WE likes to hide it in very tiny little nooks on the knife. But in this case, I can't find it. But it is a 20 CV knife coming in around 60 Rockwell. I think for the money and less a 10% discount if you're using either my code or LTK's code, you're going to get that 10% off of the 170 or 175 or whatever it ends up being. And you're going to come down well below, what, 160, if my math is correct. Maybe it isn't. But definitely, while they're still available, this is a knife to have. That's why I got a second one. Hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to give it a like. And there's a little decal over here of a little logo of mine. Click on that, and you can subscribe to my channel. Be well.